Well, Jalen was a committed kid. He had a very soft heart, and he was always wanting to see people smile. I hardly ever saw any bad days with him and never heard him say anything bad about anyone else. He always wanted to help. I remember when he first started working, every time he would get a paycheck, he would take some money out and buy a homeless person something to eat. Every time he got paid, he wanted to make a difference. He was always bringing home school kids to spend the night, or, whenever somebody got kicked out of the house, he was like, "Mom, can they come and stay?" So he was like a little humanitarian growing up. Jalen was an athlete in high school, and he was in sports, wrestling and football. So he was pretty much aware of taking care of himself. But as he got into the latter years of high school, I want to say 10th, 11th grade, that's when I noticed that he started becoming curious about marijuana use. So I asked him, was it anything else that he needed to talk to me about, and how much I wanted him to stay on track and not mess up and get to college and everything. He assured me that it was nothing more than marijuana, maybe a drink or two of alcohol after a football game. He assured me that he wasn't doing anything other than that, and I let him know that I trusted him. Jalen passed away July 4th of 2021. At that time, I was out of town. I didn't come back into the country until the 6th of July. I knew something was wrong because Jalen and I would talk every day. Even if it wasn't no more than a couple of text messages, we were very close. So I knew something was wrong. I was making phone calls back home to see if anybody else heard from him. I was at the airport when my sister picked me up, and she had my other two sisters on the phone. And I asked, "Hey, did y'all ever get in contact with Jalen?" That's when I was notified that he was gone. Then the very next day, I got a call from the detective. We were in Arlington at the time, Texas. And there was an increase of fentanyl overdoses in the area where my son passed away. So they were concerned about it. So they had a good idea that it was an overdose, but we had to wait for the toxicology report to come in and say exactly how much was in there, but they had a good idea that it was fentanyl. Jalen was with another kid that also taken it, but he survived. He was hospitalized for maybe a week or two. And so I asked the detective, well, what could have happened? And that's when they let me know that the way that the fentanyl pills are pressed, that my son may have gotten more of the fentanyl than the other child. The other roommate that was there, was three of them. One didn't take, one did. The one that did take was the one that was in the hospital for like 2 weeks, but he survived. The other one waited 10 hours to call for medical, but he did say that Jalen told him that he wasn't feeling right at 2 o'clock that morning. He waited until 2 o'clock that afternoon to call for medical. So the 4th of July weekend, I guess, from my understanding from some of the friends, they wanted to get together and have a little party or whatever for the 4th. They were celebrating the 4th of July. Jalen and the other kid thought that they were getting just oxycodone. It was brought to my attention that after he had a football injury, that he was taking oxys. Later on, it came out that it had the fentanyl in it. When it was sent to me, the toxicology report broke down that the level of fentanyl was twice of what a human could take. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was a high amount of fentanyl, oxy, and they had taken some Percocets as well. During that time, it was still a blur to me because I was still in shock, so I didn't really memorize the numbers like that. My dreams and aspirations for Jalen was that I knew he was going to be a great man one day because he had such a big loving heart and everybody loved him so much. I wanted to see what type of difference he was going to make in the world. I knew he was going to make a big footprint. He was going to leave a big footprint. because all he wanted to do was help. And I knew that he was gonna one day become a good father, a good husband, a good neighbor, just an all-around good person to the world. We needed more Jalen's. Empty. Since he's been gone, I haven't been 100% myself anymore. And it's been almost 4 years, but I still feel like I lost a part of me. So it's been really hard just to do day-to-day activities sometimes. Every chance I get, I'm trying to connect with other mothers, fathers, friends who have lost kids, just to see how they're making it, and to give an encouraging word and to learn more from it. I try to keep up with the news on what legislators and our government officials are doing to try to crack down on this problem that's been going on, hoping that there will be change to where other families won't have to go through what I went through, just trying to join support groups, talking to other mothers and family members who've lost kids on how they have been coping, putting the word out there that, that fentanyl is something very serious that we should be taking, into consideration with our kids because we're losing too many of them. I think that if the people that he were around hadn't waited so long to call help, that he would have been here. He could have had a chance of still being here. And a lot of times during panic, being scared, sometimes, kids don't reach out or call. And I think that they need to know that it's okay to call medical right away if they feel something is wrong. I'm the mother of Jalen Convington, who died of a fentanyl overdose. One pill can kill.